You're tuned into Everyday Theology in Plain English, making sense of God's truth for your everyday life. Here's your host, the man who can't remember his own password but serves a God who's never forgotten anything, Charlie Miller.
Hey there, welcome back to Everyday Theology in Plain English. I'm so glad that you're here with us. Today, we're talking about something that might make you a little bit nervous. God's omniscience. The fact that God knows everything. And I mean everything. Every thought you've ever had. Every secret you've ever kept. Every embarrassing moment you hoped no one else saw. Every motive behind every action, even the ones you hide from yourself. So let me ask you, does that thought comfort you or does it terrify you? Maybe the idea of a God who knows everything makes you want to hide rather than draw near to him. Maybe you've thought, if God really knew what goes on inside my head, he couldn't possibly love me. Or maybe you're on the other side. Maybe you've experienced deep loneliness, just feeling like no one truly knows you, the real you beneath the surface. And the idea that God knows you completely isn't scary at all. It's what you've been longing for. And here's what I want you to know right up front today. God's complete knowledge of you isn't a threat to run from. It's the foundation for the deepest love you could ever experience. Today, we're going to discover together what omniscience really means, why it's actually good news, and how it can transform the way you relate to God. So what do we mean when we say God is omniscient? Well, simply put, omniscience means God knows everything. He knows all things actual and possible. He knows the past, he knows the present, he knows the future. He knows every fact about the physical universe and every thought in every mind. There is nothing hidden from him and nothing he needs to learn. Psalm 147:5 puts it this way. It says, "Great is our Lord and mighty in power. His understanding has no limit." No limit. That's omniscience. And Hebrews 4:13 says, "Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of him to whom we must give account." Now, let's break down what God's knowledge includes. And this is actually really remarkable. So, first of all, God knows everything about the physical universe. Every star in every galaxy, every grain of sand on every beach, every subatomic particle. Jesus said that God knows when a single sparrow falls to the ground. He said God has numbered the hairs on your head, not just counted them in a general sense, but numbered them like he's keeping track of every one of them. Second, God knows the past and the future with equal clarity. See, we experience time linearly, right? One moment after the next. We remember the past imperfectly, and we can't see the future at all. But God sees all of time all at the same time. Isaiah 46:10 says, "I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times what is still to come." And this is why biblical prophecy is even possible. God isn't guessing about the future. He sees it as clearly as you see what's right in front of you right now. Third, God knows every thought and motive of every person. This is the part that gets really personal, right? Psalm 139, beginning of verse 2 says, "You know when I sit and when I rise, you perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord." Did you catch that? Before you even speak a word, God already knows it completely. He doesn't just hear what you say. He knows what you were thinking before you said it, and he knows the motive behind why you said it. Well, here's the reality. You have never had a secret from God, not one. Every thought, every fantasy, every pride-filled moment, every bit of fear, every bit of jealousy, he's seen it all. There's nothing you could tell God that would surprise him. Now, here's where we need to address the elephant in the room. So, why is this good news? If God knows all my worst thoughts and hidden sins, isn't that absolutely terrifying? Let me give you 3 reasons why God's complete knowledge of you is actually the best news you could hear. So, first, it means God's love for you is based on complete information. I mean, think about human relationships, right? We often put our best foot forward. We hide our flaws, right? We present an edited version of ourselves. And as a little part of us is always inside wondering if this person really knew me, if they knew the real me, the hidden me, would they still love me? But God does know the real you. He's known you completely since before you were even born. Psalm 139 says he saw your unformed body and wrote all the days of your life before one of them came to be. And knowing all of that, every failure, every dark thought, every hidden sin even, he still chose to love you. He still sent Jesus to die for you. And he still calls you his beloved child. God's love isn't based on an idealized version of yourself that doesn't exist. It's based on complete knowledge of exactly who you are. When God says, I love you, he's not being naive. He knows precisely what he's loving. Second, it means you can be completely honest with God. So many of us waste energy trying to appear spiritual in our prayers, right? We use churchy language. We confess sins that sound acceptable while we hide the ones that embarrass us. We perform for an audience of one. But here's the freedom of omniscience. You can't hide anything anyway, so why pretend? You might as well be completely honest. Tell God exactly what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're fearing, what you're wanting. He already knows. You're not giving him new information. But there's something powerful about bringing into the light what you've been hiding in the dark. Third, it means God's guidance is perfectly informed. So you see, when God directs your life, he's not working with incomplete data. He knows every option, every consequence, every factor that you can't possibly see. He knows how the decision you're facing today will ripple into years later that you can't imagine. You might not always understand his guidance, but you can always trust that it's based on perfect knowledge of you, of your situation, and even of the future. Quick pause. If this is making sense to you so far, drop a comment and let me know. And if you're confused about something, ask. That's the way that we can all learn together. Your questions help me explain things better for everyone. So now you might be thinking, okay, Charlie, I'm starting to see how this could actually be good news, but how do I actually live in light of God's omniscience? Like, what does this look like practically on a day-to-day basis? Well, let me give you 3 practical ways that this truth can transform your life. So first, let God's knowledge of you free you from pretense. Picture someone, we'll call him Marcus, right? So this Marcus represents a pattern that I've seen in a lot of different people's lives. Marcus has been a Christian for 20 years. He leads a small group. He's respected in his church. But there's a secret struggle he's never told anyone, an addiction he battles in private, a sin he's deeply, deeply ashamed of. Marcus prays about it sometimes, but even his prayers seem sanitized. He uses vague language like, Lord, help me with my struggles. He's never actually named the sin to God, as if saying it out loud would make it more real or more unacceptable. But here's the truth. that sets Marcus free. God already knows. He's not waiting for Marcus to inform him. Marcus's silence isn't protecting his reputation with God. God sees through it all completely. And maybe that's you. Maybe there's something you've never brought into the light, even with God. Maybe you've been carrying shame so heavy that you can't even name it in your prayers. Man, I get it. Shame makes us want to hide, even from the one who already sees everything. Here's what I want to tell you. God's omniscience isn't a threat to your shame. It's the cure for it. You can bring that thing into the light because God already knows and he hasn't left. His love is already factored in your worst moment. There's freedom on the other side of honesty. Second, find comfort in being fully known. Let me paint you another picture. So let's imagine a woman, we'll call her Denise, who's felt misunderstood her whole life. Her parents didn't get her. Her friends see only part of who she really is. Even her spouse, who loves her dearly, doesn't fully know her inner world. Denise carries a loneliness that human relationships can't quite reach. There's a part of her that just no one else sees. But then she discovers the truth of God's omniscience, not as a threat, but as a gift. Someone knows her completely. Someone sees the parts of her that words can't express. Someone understands her better than she even understands herself. And here's the beautiful paradox. Only by being fully known can you be fully loved. And only God can do both of those things completely. Human relationships will always be limited. But with God, there's no gap between how much he knows you and how much he loves you. Third, trust God's guidance even when you can't see the full picture. Proverbs 3, starting in verse 5, says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." So, why does the Bible tell us not to lean on our own understanding? Because our understanding is limited. We don't see the future, right? We can't know all the factors that are going on. We're often blind to our own motives, even. But God sees everything. He knows what you need better than you do. He knows what's coming around the corner that you can't even see. When his guidance doesn't make sense to you, just remember, he's working with information you don't have. As we wrap up today's episode, here's what I want you to remember. God's complete knowledge of you isn't something to fear. It's the foundation for the deepest love possible. He knows your worst thoughts, and he loves you anyway. He knows your secret sins, and he sent Jesus anyway. He knows your future better than you do, and his guidance can be trusted completely. You are fully known and fully loved. Both are true at the same time, and that's the best news you could ever hear. So, here's your assignment. Practice radical honesty with God this week. Pick one thing you've been hesitant to tell him, not because he doesn't know, but because you've never actually said it out loud. Bring it to him in prayer. Name it. Don't clean it up. Don't use churchy language. Just be honest. And then sit in the truth that he knew before you said it, and he still loves you. Let that reality sink deep into your heart. Now, here's our community question. How does it make you feel to know that God knows every thought you've ever had? Does it comfort you, or does it make you uncomfortable? And why? And be honest. Your answer might help someone else processing the same question. Some of us find God's complete knowledge absolutely terrifying. Others find it deeply comforting. Where do you land? And what's shaped that response for you? Our next episode, we're exploring God's power, his omnipotence. Can God really do anything? Are there limits to what he can do? And what does his unlimited power mean for the impossible situations that you might be facing right now? What I'm going to share might give you a lot of hope in your life. Until then, remember, you are known, completely, thoroughly, exhaustively known. And in that knowing, you are loved more than you could ever imagine. Thanks for joining me on Everyday Theology in Plain English. I'm Charlie Miller, and I'm so grateful you're a part of this community. I can't wait to continue this journey with you next time.